Hey. It's chilly, dude. Morning. Alright, it is September 30th. Heading in the morning time, 3:21 a.m. So we're still on good time right now. So the last time we hunted, we went into a little patch of oaks that I knew about, and we hung a camera up before the season started. Hunted there, didn't see anything, but on our way in, we found a fresh scrape. Well, I ended up taking that camera down just because it wasn't high enough, and I brought it home. And I checked the card at home, and the buck that I've been chasing since opening morning made that scrape the morning of the day that we hunted that evening. So we're on him. More or less, we're gonna go back and sit that scrape because all of the pictures indicated that it was a morning spot. So we're gonna see what else is slipping through that area if my camera wasn't catching it, because I got a ton of doe on camera. Other than that, just still want to get some intel on the buck we're chasing. I have two cameras on me. I've got a cell camera that I'm going to put up in this spot over that scrape, and then I've got a regular camera that we're going to take out there as well, just in case we do come across other sign, or if I find a spot that I want to put it in. The other thing is, David's with us. This is the first time hunting with David this year. This is cool. We'll be able to cover two different spots. I kind of directed him towards a water crossing that I like to sit that he knows about, so hopefully he can find his way through there and get to that spot. I told him, I said, it's a little bit different. There's a lot of trees that have fallen over, so yeah, I trust him though. He's good. We're about 20 minutes out, not even. So we'll see when we get there. How you feeling?
First sitting this piece. Been hunting a couple other ones, trying out, testing new grounds, but coming back to the stomping ground, see if we can't get her done today. Check out Wisco Brothers Outdoors. See all the fucking dinosaur turkeys David kills. It's a small buck. Do you want him? just one of the small ones in here. We're after the big ones. That's a fawn.
All right, just got back to the parking lot. You guys already told us you know this parking lot. But I ended up seeing a small buck and a fawn work its way from the river. Now, I don't think that was necessarily their travel routes that they planned for this morning. I think that they bedded against the river, and then once all those duck hunters came in and started popping off, it pushed them away from the river back towards us, back towards that scrape. Didn't see anything after that. How about you, big dog?
Seen everything else and its grandmother except for a deer.
All right. So, headed back out, kind of to the same spot we've been hunting this whole time. Last time we sat that scrape. What we're doing today is going back and sitting the water crossing that we've sat before. Essentially, we keep on getting that big 10 that I've been after. This is the only spot that he daylights at. He'll daylight like right at 6 o'clock or any time after that. So we want to get in there. It's 2:30 right now. We'll be in the parking lot by 2:45. I don't know what that noise was. But yeah, we'll have enough time to get down there and get set, calm down and quiet. And then it's really warm out today. It is 87 degrees out, so I am hoping that he's going to want to come get some water, and then on his way to the water, he's just going to tell himself, well, I might as well hit these acorns, and on his way to the acorns, he's going to eat an arrow instead. I'm excited. I'm ready. I've kind of decided that this is going to be the last hunt we throw into this area, just because we've been here so much. Nothing big and substantial is really daylighting other than him and then the small bucks that we've been running into. So we're gonna give this one more go, and then if we get skunked, then the next hunt is just gonna be boots on the ground, finding sign and setting up. So next time I see you, we'll be at the tree. This crossing, it's anytime around 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock, so this is going to be our last stab at it, and then we're going to leave this area alone. Other than that, just sit back and buckle up. Alright, didn't see anything. Heard a ton of coyotes. However, this is the thing. We've hunted this section of public quite a bit so far, mainly because that 10 was running around in there and I felt like I could get on top of him. Plus the fact that I was getting camera pictures of him at like last light for the last like week. So, unsuccessful tonight. We're going to completely stay out of this area until probably later in October, once that pre-rut starts to kick in. Until then, we're going to kind of game plan on areas we want to spot check and kind of just like poke into and scout and see if we can't find any fresh sign. Yeah, at this point, we're just trying to get on top of something new, some more fresh sign. If we can find a scrape area like we just found in the area that we've been hunting somewhere else, and then break it down from there, that'd be really good. So Yeah, get home, get some food, get some rest, right back at it in the morning.
That's where I had that standoff with that doe for like 50 minutes. Maybe I can redeem myself and catch her.
Good morning. It's October 1st. We're hunting a whole different area than we've hunted all season. We scouted this during the off season. Picked out a tree, but when we accessed in here this morning, it looks way different than what it did when there was no leaves on the trees. So everything is really, really close quarters. We had two things walk by this morning. Couldn't tell you what they were. It was either a coyote or a deer. We're in this wickedly curved tree. My stand's at an angle. My spine already hurts. But we're gonna tough this one out. Really good beaten trails in here. Got one that leads right underneath us. Just gonna sit back, listen to all the duck hunters just scare all the friggin' animals out of the woods. It's deer season. What are you doing? We're down to our last about 40 minutes here. I haven't seen anything, I haven't heard anything. David hasn't seen anything either, and he's like 300-400 yards away from us right now. I said we heard something walk by us around 5 a.m. this morning. So they're in here. They just didn't use this spot today. We'll finish this up and get back to the truck and figure out what's going on for the afternoon. That's his second 5-hour energy today. I got 10 hours energy. Alright, so we're gonna head to a spot that we scouted during the off season, and we didn't really find any great sign until we got deep back into there. And I just recall when we were back in there, when we did find a sign, it was back by the river bottom. It was like really secluded back there. Like it was an area that it'd be tough to get a boat into, especially with duck season going on right now. So if we can get back into that area, back where we started to see sign when we were scouting, work our way into there until we find fresh sign, and then set up on that, that'd be ideal. It's a ways in there. It is warm. It's warmer than yesterday. And yesterday was pretty warm. Alright, we're literally about to be there shortly, so see you guys in the woods. Alright, about to head in. First things first, I gotta take shit. Alright, it is October 5th. Heading out in the evening. I got out of work early. Early enough anyway. It's already pretty late. It's 3:56. So by the time I get out there, it's going to be like 4:15-ish probably. Heading out to public. Yeah, I'll see when I get out there. I kind of got a boogie here. Hey.
I gotta stay quiet. I don't think I hit her, but I'm about to watch the footage. She didn't act like she was hit, but this branch right in front of me has a fresh cut in it, so I'm guessing that's my arrow that hit it. Yeah, I drilled the branch. Man, that sucks. I guess we just sit it out and see what happens. 2 years ago, I hit a branch in Illinois on what would have been the biggest buck. Boat buck. It'd be real nice if I could kick that habit. I realize I hadn't even done an opening interview yet. Literally as soon as I got set up, got my camera set up, she walked damn near right underneath me, and then I don't know if she smelled me and tried to get a better smell of me or what, but she eventually calmed down and started eating acorns again. And the entire time I'm staring at her, I'm looking like, alright, you know, there's branches there, there's there. But I forgot to look at the branches right next to me. Right spot. Horrible execution.
Alright. Don't hit the trash cans like I just did.
Here comes a big old blast from wind. Look at that. Ooh, that's a good one. Alright. As you see, it's raining. It's the first cold front of the season so far. It's October 6th. We're heading into a, actually, we have never even hunted here yet this season. It's still public. Don't really have too far to walk. We're going to be sitting on this little water crossing. It separates two fields. It's like a dike that runs in between these two fields. One of those fields is just natural, really thick cover, a bunch of saplings, like just a huge patch of saplings that butts up against to an area that we call the buck nest. So we're not going to make a move on the buck nest tonight, but as we get closer to the end of October here, just from experience, I know that that buck nest starts to fill up just because cover starts to decrease. So looking back at my camera photos from the last couple of seasons, it seemed like right at the early start of October they started using this crossing a whole bunch. So that's where we're going, but we're going to put the camera away because it's raining.
Hey everybody. Alright, so we were gonna walk our normal route to the place that we want to get to. But we ran into a hunter in the, like when we were getting ready in the road, and it sounded like he was coming way farther down the road than we are, but we ran into him in the field. It's either him or somebody else. But the way we were gonna go would have ruined his hunt. I don't want to do that, so we ended up dropping down into this little dike. And our plan is to try to take the dike all the way up to where we gotta cross anyway. So far, it's been good. But unfortunately, I found out that my right foot has a hole in it. My butt. My right boot has a hole in it. So my right foot is completely soaked. Still got like a couple 100 yards until we get there. We'll see how it goes. Than I wanted because the leveling bracket on my stand snapped so loud. Hopefully whoever heard it forgets about it. It's a bit of a circus. But essentially we walked up that entire creek, or that dike, got up on the side of the dike. The wind is blowing over the dike past us, like into our face. So anything that's out in this bedding area, it's not going to smell us. We've got really good wind cover. There's a crossing on this dike, probably less than 10 yards over. We're expecting them to come out of this bedding and use this crossing, or just walk down the transition of this bedding. I ran a camera here last year. In the first couple of weeks of October, this crossing was getting hit pretty good, which makes sense because as everything else loses its foliage and its cover, this is going to stay thick for a while. Hopefully get our eye on something.
Morning. I think it's the 7th, right? Yeah. It's October 7th, morning of first cold front of the season is moving through. Last night it came in. It was super windy, super cold. It was probably super cold because I fell in the little drainage. But we are headed out to a spot that I shot my buck in last year, the buck that I didn't get to recover. I actually sat in this general area 2 days ago. We're going to push in a little deeper than where I sat into a known area, pretty much where I kind of set up on my buck that day or that morning. Not really much else to it other than it's the first cold front, so we're going to try to catch him coming back to bed late. The area that we're setting up in is like a natural pinch point back to that bedding area. So we're seeing if we can't capitalize on something here. But we're almost there. We'll see you guys when we get there.
super eventful morning. While I was up in the tree, I could see that there was a scrape down here. You can see that it's fresh. There's fresh tracks. They're pushing it back. There's a fresh rub right here. Come this way. There's another fresh rub right here. We're definitely going to be back this afternoon. It feels like they're coming out of the thick stuff this way. But just from experience in last year, I know that they'll walk the edge of the river. This is the sign we're looking for. This is the sign that we want to set up on. But obviously we seen that buck and those does this morning, so we'll be back in here.
Alright, headed back out. Found all that fresh sign this morning, as well as had that encounter with that big deer, mature deer. Not only that, but we filmed all those does running around, and we're pretty sure we know where they ran back into. After we looked over the footage, we could tell that that bigger buck that we seen did not go with that group of doe. They were actually getting pushed around by a smaller buck. So can't really determine where he went. We know where he tucked back into. That doesn't mean he's in there, but it gives us a general area where he's using right now. As for where the other group of deer went, that's what we're going to try to target. Where they went into is kind of a peninsula, and if they come off of that peninsula, they have 3 ways that they can take. My buddy David's joining us for this hunt, so what we're planning on doing is all going solo. We're all going to cover those 3 points, see if they went back to that peninsula or not. Yeah, not much to it other than that. So yeah, Dylan's gonna go sit in the same spot that we seen this morning just to see if anything comes back and eats in that little oak flat, as well as works that scrape. David's gonna sit the opposite side of that, and then I'm gonna be sitting kind of in the middle where they can sneak through both ends. Be there in about 20 minutes. It's not that far of an access in. Just gotta be quiet and set up quiet. Should be good to go. David's actually parked down there, walking in solo by himself. Me and Dylan are about to walk in here. Dylan's going to access the same way that we accessed this morning. I'm going to take a different route, hopefully pinch him off. Let's get at it. Not good. Cheers. Cheers. Getting close to where I want to be. It's getting pretty thick in here. To the point where they can start bedding down really anywhere and they'll be in cover. I feel like I want to work my way up. Another 50 yards maybe. And we should be good. Unfortunately, where Dylan's at, it sounds like there's a squirrel hunter. So hopefully that doesn't ruin Dylan's hunt. It shouldn't. Deer typically won't get up and move squirrel hunters. Alright, I just finally got set up. It took me a little bit because I wasn't sure how I was going to get my camera arm to be able to work with my saddle, but I figured it out. So David is set up a few hundred yards down this way. Dylan's down the other way while I'm in the middle. I worked my way in until I could find some acorns and just some feeding sign, and ended up coming on this patch where I've got like 3 or 4 really mature white oaks. It's 4:30 right now. Got about 2.5 hours. Just gonna get settled in and quiet.
yards. All we've seen so far is that nub. As much as I wanted to shoot, I'm just after something mature, doe or buck. Give the little guy a chance. Grab me a water quick. All right, good morning. It is October 8th. We are going in after that buck that we seen yesterday morning. He's got to be living in this area right now, so we're going to bounce around and see if we can't catch him. Dylan named him Jeff, so we're going with Jeff. I'm going to call him El Jefe, but essentially that's the plan. The axis is only a couple of 100 yards, maybe 300-400 yards. We're going to loop. We're going to access the same way we did, but we're going to loop around to the right and hopefully cut him off where he popped out into that opening in the field yesterday. Getting packed up now. It's a whopping 42 degrees, so we're probably in the real feel of the 30s. So hopefully they're up and moving and just hopefully we have another good morning. Seen a fucking thing. Seems like every year I do this to myself like 2 or 3 times where I try to go in somewhere blind in the morning and I just blow the whole thing up. I think it's like 8 o'clock right now, so we'll probably sit for not too much longer. I'll go home, take the lady out for lunch. Game plan. We need to figure out where El Jefe is. There was deer. Yesterday there was deer right there. Not today. 1, 2, 3. No. Jeff's is gonna be way bigger. Smell this entire bedding area. They marked those scrapes to mark the edge of this bedding because that's right where the transition was, right where it went thick to open. It's good to know. They might cruise through there. Let's ride. I stepped in dog shit or something. Alrighty, October 9th. I wasn't planning on hunting this week at all. I just wanted to spend some time with the family, do something this weekend with the kids, but this is like the tail end of this little cold front that we have going through here. And if I was to hunt this week, this is the only time that I'm gonna be able to. With work, I've got training these next 3 days down in the Joliet area. So I am definitely not going to be home in time to get out after work. And then, like I said, this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, plan on spending with the family. So we're going to do an afternoon sit tonight. I brought 2 cameras with me. I brought a cell camera and I brought a regular camera with me. Plan is we found a scrape Saturday morning that was really fresh. Now we did hunt that area 2 consecutive days. Almost 3 consecutive days, I guess, if you think about it. However, I still think they're still going to be using that area. That area was super hot last year around the end of October. That's actually where I shot my buck at, that I didn't get to recover. But the sign was crazy. We've only, oh no. All right, my bad. What the hell?
I had some chicken wings on my dash and I accelerated and they flew off. And the box opened. Got all over my brand new seat. Alright, I don't even know where I left off yet. Yes, I do. Alright. So we have essentially only hunted the west side of this piece. There's a peninsula, kind of like a not so noticeable peninsula, but if you know what you're looking for, you can tell that it's a peninsula. That has bedding on it. And then there's a peninsula that's to the east of that, on the east end of this little piece, that they also bed on, that was shredded with buck sign last year. So my plan is go in there. I'm gonna hang my cell camera in that scrape area. It's an oak, it's like a small little patch of oaks that's just surrounded by cover. So I plan on getting a cell camera in there. I'm not necessarily just gonna put it on the scrape, but I'll put it to where it can just watch that entire oak flat. I don't want them to be able to sneak behind my camera, so I'll decipher how I'm gonna put that. And then from then, I'm either gonna hunt that east side or I'm just gonna push closer, all the way closer to that peninsula on the west side and give it one last sit over there. There's gotta be something tucking back in there, so we'll see if we can't get eyes on it. And if she nice, or he nice, get an arrow in it. All right, now that I'm here, I'm gonna attack the west side one more time. I'm just gonna push closer into that peninsula. Main reason is I wanna get that camera on the scrape. I don't wanna have to walk all the way in there and then walk all the way back out and then get down to the east end of this. So got about 4.5 hours. Get in there, get that set up, and work my way over.
All right, all set up. I got about 2.5 hours, maybe a little less. I feel good about this. Got them on a sign that was leading back here. If they're on that peninsula and they don't come this way, I'm right on the pinch. Essentially, it's a peninsula that comes to a point, and those 2 points lead into draws, and in the center of those draws, fields right here. So if they come off that peninsula and they come my way, I should see them because I can see the edge of the river too. Wind is blowing in my face. But if they're on there and I don't see them, that means that they're funneling through the other draw of that peninsula.